Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hope you're all okay. It's a lovely day here in Yorkshire. The sun is out, the sky is blue. It's the 16th of July 2024. Let me know if you're joining me live, and if you're watching me in the future, hello, future. Hope you're all okay. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Heidi Mavir. I'm the founder of EOTAS Matters and EHCP Matters, and I work supporting parents and carers of neurodivergent children who need help in doing life differently. And as part of that, we've been showcasing some incredible business owners, mentors, therapists, parent professionals, awesome humans as part of our Meet the Changemakers season. And today I'm joined by the lovely Hazel Thomas. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. It's lovely to be here. It's not so sunny here and we're not that far away, but...
No, you're like up and right? Like
yeah.
Whereabouts in the country are you? Whereabouts in
Teesside.
the country? Teesside. I knew it was up that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, maybe the nice weather's on its way to you. It was a bit grim this morning, so maybe it's on its way to you. Here's hoping. So we want to get to know you a little bit. So let's start like at the very beginning, as Maria would say. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got to this point.
I have a really varied background, kind of business-wise, which actually has put me in really good stead for my current situation. So I'm a mum of twin boys. They both have additional needs. One has complex health, physical, cognitive issues. We run across the board. I'm a solo mum, so it's just me. So I've quite a varied history, which has kind of stood me in good stead working for. I've worked with families. I've worked for Citizens Advice. Worked for the Homeless Service. Done all sorts of things. Worked for a youth worker, all before having children. Mm-hmm. Which was because I love giving back. I love helping people, and I've always worked within the voluntary sector, kind of in my career. And then I got pregnant with twins, which is obviously quite a big surprise in itself. And was told very early in pregnancy that there was probably going to be issues with one of them.
Okay.
So, which is quite scary in itself. And then I had them super early. I became a single parent at 14 when they were 14 months old. So now doing it completely on my own. As many of the people watching will sure, I've been through many, many battles for both of them, starting from a really young age. But what I did do is continue to work. And I carried on working until they were nearly 4 years old, at which point I kind of realised that something had to give, and that couldn't be me because there was no alternative. Mm-hmm. So I left my job that I loved, and started a very small kind of self-employed business, thinking that actually magically leaving my job, that everything will be sorted, that life will be easier, that I won't be stuck in burnout, and that my health will suddenly recover. And you can tell by the way I'm saying that is not what happened. So yeah, it was quite a realization that it wasn't a magic wand, and that actually a lot of work needed to be done. So that was back in 2018. And it took me a little while, but then I started kind of searching for what would help me. And basically I've spent the next 6 years searching for stuff that'll help me. Learning all the time, stuff for my kids to help them, support them through all their needs, but also to support me. And we've gone from a really stressful household of lots of kind of different needs and lots of just that permanent on and stress and not being able to cope, that implementing the stuff that I've got actually made such a difference to our household and has made life so much better. And I was going into everything saying, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. Like that, whatever word came for tired, we're exhausted, and I am, and I still am, to be fair. But it was about dealing with that. And then timing was perfect. So in early 2020, I started Dancing in the Rain. initially just as kind of a place for me and other parents to kind of just share those thoughts around our well-being, around kind of life and struggles and perhaps what we could do about it. And it took me a little while to kind of get into that. Maybe that would be something that I could take forward and really, really support other people. And that's kind of where I am now. I want to, I never want anyone to feel like I've felt in the past, and I want other people to be able to find things easily and not kind of have to spend the time and effort that it takes to go searching that I did.
Yeah. And so you are kind of known within the circle that I'm in. You're kind of like, I mean, you know, for a few things, but you're the sleep person, right? Like, that's what you know.
So sleep's been a big no. Or lack
Talk
of.
to me about that as someone who is and has been sleep deprived for probably their entire adult life, and probably their whole life actually, and who is currently in recovery from burnout and has a chronic fatigue condition and a dynamic health condition. Talk to me about sleep. Like, it's good.
So I've kind of had lots of jobs that didn't mean I could sleep very well. So I don't actually know what my own sleep pattern is, which sounds ridiculous. So one of my children particularly is kind of where my sleep journey started, just doesn't sleep. I went through, we've been through so many professionals and so many courses, and I've done so much putting things in place for him that his normal sleep pattern is about 8 till about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Then that's him up for the day. He made it to 2:30 today, which is quite exciting. But after exhausting all that, actually, and then kind of going, actually, professionals aren't helping me. I was like, right, what can I do? So then I started researching stuff around children. Until one day I kind of went, do you know what? He doesn't need it. Like, we struggle, absolutely. And like I said, I fully know what sleep deprivation. I've had 3 clinical diagnoses of sleep deprivation when the kids were younger. I'm very, very aware of what sleep deprivation looks like. But he doesn't have any of that impact. He's not tired during the day. It doesn't seem to affect his cognitive ability. It doesn't seem to affect him. He doesn't get sleepy. So actually, it was about accepting that that's where we were. So what do we do next? Because obviously I don't have a magic wand that the second he goes to sleep, I go to sleep. And as a parent of children with challenges and life, and like you, I have multiple physical health problems, then my sleep was also disrupted by me, not just my child. So I kind of took a big step back and went and started researching around adult sleep. And I've taken a really broad approach. So I've looked at like scientific stuff and kind of what actually one of the biggest thing I've discovered about the science is it's a really new science that very few people are studying sleep. So when I've gone, like, things like, I've tried to find stuff on nutrition and sleep and it doesn't exist out there. So it's very, very new and it's always changing. So it's something to keep up to date with. And then I've also gone and looked at kind of complementary therapy areas and stuff. And then I've experimentally introduced them into my life, basically. So I've done loads of reading, I've done courses, and then experimenting on me to see what works. And again, we're all different. So we all need different things to make sure that much as sleep is limited, that I get really good quality sleep. And then alongside that I get rest isn't just about stopping and sleeping. It's about rest has got really different areas to it and what helps you and what feeds you. So I go on the 3 things of rest, relaxation, and rejuvenation, because actually we can look at all of those things that feed into 2 things: how we sleep and how our body responds. And all of it actually feeds back into what our bodies do when we don't sleep as well. That our bodies and minds are really clever in that. Sorry, is this? I'm telling you.
No, I love this.
I really like the science of it, but it feeds into all the rest of it.
Turn on the nerd. I love it.
So everybody knows we have different parts of sleep in our sleep cycle. And ideally, we have all those different bits and we have this beautiful 8 hours sleep and we get everything we need from sleep. However, what our body does when we don't get enough sleep is it prioritizes our brain, because it kind of goes, your body can crack on, but we need your brain bit to be okay. So our memory, our putting things from sort of short-term memory to long-term memory, and how we can't think of the word, like how our dreams process things, it prioritizes that. So our physical rest, our immune system, our healing is a bit that gets sacrificed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but actually we can still do stuff like that. So meditation is fantastic for body and mind. And there's some work around that something like 10 minutes of meditation can actually make up for an hour's loss of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And now most people, when you say meditation, go, oh my God, I can't do that. So a lot of what I do is around anybody can, but you have to find what works for you. Many people can't just sit and go, yes, I'm going to sit and I'm going to sit in the position and I'm going to switch it off and everything's going to work. And it's not. And the biggest thing is that it's a practice, that it's something you learn, and it's not instant. And it took me probably a year to kind of really get to that and go, right, I can do this now. That it is a process. But that
and
was
also meditation isn't always sitting on the floor cross-legged going is it? Like
not.
You've got to find the type that works for you. And yeah, I think it's so interesting that like it's one of those things that like we know when we haven't had enough sleep, like just generally. I don't mean like if you've got a chronic condition. I just mean if you've had a rubbish night's sleep, you feel it the next day. But we don't, unless you've got a sleep disorder or it's significantly impacting your waking day. It's just not something lots of us give a lot of thought to. We don't talk about resting until people are burnt out. We don't talk about what, like you were saying about rejuvenation, about, basically refilling your cup. We don't talk about what that looks like, particularly in neurodivergent households, until the wheels come off, right? And then a lot of us are in big trouble by then.
And I think as well that many of us have a history of the shoulds, of the we should be doing this or we should be doing that, or that we should, or that we somehow have to earn permission to rest, or permission to take a nap, or permission to do something just for us even. I mean, I know a lot of people that are like, well, I don't do self-care. I can't do that. Because the entire focus, and for me, and I did start off with this, my entire focus was on my kids, my entire focus on fighting for what they needed and fighting the service, and I'm still fighting the services and making sure that, but the thing was, because I was sitting on the edge of burnout or in it, and I'm probably sitting on the edge of it now, and I probably spent a good 4 to 5 years well stuck in it. But sorting myself out has had such a massive impact, because as a parent, I can meet my kids' needs more calmly, with compassion, without that stress of like what we're going to do, and just meeting them on a level that works for them, as well as it being good for us, but also for modeling for them. Like, they're looking at us. If all they see is you doing everything for everybody else all the time, they will then have those shoulds, those we must do's. We can never put us first. And who wants that for the kids?
Yeah. So vital. I think it's really important and really interesting as well that, I mean, it's important to recognize that when you are in crisis and you are fighting like mad, particularly if you're in the HCP process, and it is true that often in those circumstances, you do not have time for the nice, fluffy bits of self-care. You don't. And one of the things that I wish that I'd learned earlier, and when I say earlier, I mean more than 3 weeks ago, was if you have an app on your phone with a timer and a breathe in, breathe out, and you do that for 3 minutes, it will reduce your heart rate and you will get through the day with a little bit more energy. And I know people say, don't forget to breathe, but it's things like that we do not get taught and we don't teach our children. And we might say, have you thought about some breathing? Like, for a neurodivergent person, well, clearly not. I haven't thought about breathing. Why would I be doing that? My interoception is so shocking. I hardly even think about eating or going to the toilet. Why would I think about breathing? But also saying to someone, and I've been through a lot of therapy, and I've had therapists said to me, have you tried some breathing exercises? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start. And it took for someone to say to me, here's an app, turn it on, Pick 3 minutes, look at the screen, follow the instructions for 3 minutes. Like, that's what it took. Because no one teaches you. And I'm someone who has been embedded in the self-care world for like 15 years, you know. Go on.
Yeah, having that accountability as well. And yeah, I never, like, most of what I do is around the really short things that make an impact, because actually 5 minutes does make an impact. 1 minute breathing makes an impact. But I won't come on and go do 1 minute breathing. I'll come on and go, right, let's do this.
Yeah.
And breathing's actually one of the things, it's one of my current little obsessions. That I've been reading the book Breath by James Nestor. I highly recommend it if you haven't. But it's really interesting, and there's so much out there though that again, you can fall down, which I have definitely done, fall down the hole of just getting so involved with it. Whereas actually keeping it simple, doing even 1 minute of something called box breathing is always the thing I do first, which is literally in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, and do it for a minute. And you will almost always see the impact. And yeah, breathing has a massive impact on our whole system, because you're accessing that parasympathetic calming system by breathing, that you're telling your body and your mind, right, this is a moment of calm. And actually, it's one of the top things I do teach my kids, even my non-verbal child, that I actually do it. It comes to completely something I've made up, but you find things that work for your family like that. I sit him on me and breathe with him. This works. That me breathing in that way calms him. And just having those tools. And like you said, we were never taught any of that stuff. And I think it's not even out there now that that even when the kids are having kind of extra services and therapies and stuff, that like literally one of them came on and was like, I've been told to breathe. And I was like, excellent. Should we do this together then?
Let's work out what that actually means. So talk to me about what you've got happening at the moment, what you're working on, how you're working with people. I know you've got some stuff that you're working on at the minute. And I also know that you've got, as we're coming into summer, you've got some stuff for parents and carers for summer stuff, because we know that summer can be a little bit challenging. So talk to me first about what you've got coming up, and then we'll talk about your summer thing.
So ongoing stuff, we have every week, we have a cuppa and chat, but that's term time. So the last one will be this week. And then it will be after the summer, because I do struggle to do stuff when my children are at home. And then monthly, I do a mindfulness circle. Obviously, again, this is around sometimes taking that leap's quite hard. So it is for people who perhaps have already decided that they're going to do it and don't know where to start.
And these are online?
Yes, they're all online. Everything's online. It's all, for me, it was all about the stuff that I couldn't access. And actually, lockdown was a really big wake-up call for me, that like all this stuff we can do like this, that we can meet people online and that we can do stuff online. And that's incredibly important for people who struggle to get anywhere. I mean, again, that committing to, sorry, I wandered off, but committing to going to something every week in a hall somewhere when we've got hospital appointments and therapies and whatever else, it's just not an option.
And actually just getting there, just getting your kids and or you out of the house. Getting dressed is sometimes a challenge in our house.
Yeah, there is absolutely no obligation to be dressed in anything that I put on. So then I have a lead magnet, which is a freebie, which is all around summer self-care, which again is around those tiny little things, because we all know summer is chaos. And it's about things you can slot in. It's about things that are dead easy, and it's got 25 things on it. So that you can find what works for you, because again, self-care is nothing like a one-size-fits-all. It's about finding what works for you, and everything I do is about finding what works for you. There's no point in coming and going, you should do this today and you should do that today, because nobody's going to do it. That it's going, right, what do you like? What works for you? What have you tried before? What appeals to you? So it's a lot of ideas that you can have a look through and have a go at.
The idea being that there's 25 things on there, and there should be something that fits everybody as a bit of a, oh, I might try that. I've never tried that. I've heard about that before, or that's worked for me previously, or oh my God, what is that? I need to find out what that is, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes with a couple of follow-up emails as well that are all about how we do that too. So how we find some time to do that. how we squeeze those bits in, because I guarantee everybody has at least 5 minutes a day, even if your instant response is, oh my God, I don't. And sometimes it's as basic things as, like you said, put the phone down.
Yeah. Oh my God. Big time. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, and actually, one of the I'm gonna tell you this because I think it's a really nice thing to do, and it's in there as well. Is just actually sit for 5 minutes and time 5 minutes, because it weirdly feels like an eternity when you sit and do it, but nobody just sits for 5 minutes. But then we'll lose that time throughout the day.
And especially if you're ADHD and you have no concept of time, you can't judge time. You have no idea how long things take, how long things have taken before, how long they'll take in the future, how long something's about to take. Like just before we came on here, I was like, I'll be logged on in 3, 2, I don't know, soon. I knew that was logging on and I was just thinking it was coming. But, you know, like, I think one of the things, and it has to be manageable, and this is the challenge, I think, with like the personal development space and the meditation space, and, you know, even the yoga space, this whole thing of, you know, it becoming a big part of your life on the regular, and, you know, you should do yoga for 4 hours a week every week. That's just not going to work for people who've got houses like our houses, our families like our families. So you've got to find a way that is going to work for you and make it. I'm all about making it easy. Make it as easy as possible to do it. Make it hard not to, rather than easy to, is even better, right? So one of the things that I've been talking about just recently, I'm using this tracker at the moment, and it's been so interesting because I'm on like a really, I was going to say it's really hardcore, but it isn't. I'm on a pacing thing at the moment where I'm trying to work out what I can get away with. That's not how they phrase it. They phrase it as being intentional in your recovery. I phrase it as, what can I get away with? But one of the things that I'm noticing with my tracker that I just did not know about myself is the difference between, for example, I went out on Friday night, standing up for 15 minutes to talk to someone versus sitting down while I did it, and how much more energy that required. And the different things in my working day, like I can track how much energy it's using, and I'm able to then go, okay, so given that I know I've got to conserve energy, this thing that I do in my business, I'm going to have to delegate. Or the difference between a shower and a bath, and the difference between a regular temperature bath and a hot bath. Like these things that I just did not know, that are like ways of me knowing how to preserve my energy when you've got a dynamic health condition, and that's part of what the treatment plan is. But these are things that we don't know naturally about our bodies anyway, but especially when we're neurodivergent and we don't hear what our bodies are saying to us sometimes until they are screaming at us.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge, right? So I like that your approach is always like, you know, little things that you can do that are sustainable, that can make a difference.
But also, like you're saying, more, not just with a health condition, which I do have too, is that every day isn't the same, and accepting that. And you'll get up. I mean, I don't have the tracker you don't, but I'm really interested in it. But I do wear a Fitbit, and that tracks heart rate. And some days I'll get, especially when I'm exhausted, and we know the impact of sleep, but again, on your heart rate even. So like, I take one of my children to school every morning. I walk. It's a 7-minute walk. It's a really flat, simple walk. Most days, doesn't even register. Some days, my heart rate's through the roof. And I know that that's the nights I've really, really struggled.
Yeah.
And I know on those days, we've got to get rid of them shoulds. Like, self-care is also not doing. Self-care is leaving the washing till tomorrow. Yeah. Self-care is going, I can't do that.
Self-care is buying a hot tub, and then when it's delivered, letting it sit in your kitchen for a week, still in its box, because you haven't.
Mine was in my kitchen for 3 months, if that helps.
Where I'm at right now, I was like, a hot tub will be a great idea. I'll get in it and I'll relax. I didn't kind of think ahead to the whole, I'll need to like assemble it. And anyway, I'm gonna get someone to come in and do it.
I got someone to help me.
But I think the important things is that I guess that thing about those little things that are sustainable is what's really key. And that's what your summer freebie is about, right? It's like these 25 ideas. So if people want to come and find you, the best place to find you is over on the Instagram at Dancing in the Rain UK. Please go and follow Hazel. The work that she's doing is really awesome. And, get yourself that freebie, because why would you not? And she will send you a couple of emails as well, like bonus. And then after the summer, what's your plan? I know we've gone over a little bit, but tell me a little bit what you're doing on the other side of the summer.
So I am developing stuff for the future. I want to help more people, and I want to do that in a way that, like we were saying, that sometimes we need someone alongside us and we need that bit of accountability. So developing something where we can work together to make sure that you have things in your life that work for you and that you can live your life, and we can look at your life and you can look at how you live and what works for you and putting that into a plan. And that's hopefully it is what I'm developing. And yeah, so that's where we are.
So if you're someone that knows that they need a bit more self-care in their life, but the idea of self-care gives you the ick, then you need to go and follow Hazel, because Hazel will not give you the ick, because Hazel's self-care is embedded in lived experience and shed loads of nerdery, which I know is like a little bit of nerding, and is neurodivergent affirming and solo parent friendly and busy life, not steeped in toxic positivity realness. And that's what we need more of. So go and seek Hazel out. Get a copy of Hazel's freebie. You can get it off their Instagram as well if you didn't get the link that I put. But if you go up into the comments, there is also a link. Stay with me so I can say goodbye to you properly when we finish. But for now, thank you for joining us live. Those that did, it's a busy day and everyone's out in the sun. And if you're watching on replay and you made it to the end, drop me a hey replay in the comments so that in the future, I feel like I'm still connected to the past. And that's always a nice thing. Okay, have a lovely day, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.